What's up, guys? Matt Fragger. I'm back again, and I got another fragrance review video for you today. Um, I hope everybody had a really happy holiday season, and now we can kind of move on to New Year's, and it's on to 25. I got a few that I picked up. I had a few that I got for Christmas that, as I'm sure a lot of you did as well, that I'm going to be covering and reviewing going forward. So please stay tuned for that. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing that. Um, Today, I want to talk to you about a fragrance that is nothing new. Um, it's been out for a while, and it's from the house of Mancera, which is a house that I really love and I really respect. Um, a lot of people call Mancera entry level niche. Uh, they have really reasonable competitive pricing. A lot of times you can pick up Manceras about the same price on discounters as you can for a designer fragrance, but they bring a lot of quality to the table and a hell of a lot of performance. And in my opinion, they have some great fragrances, and I'm kind of taking my time working into picking up here, one there, and I'm working up, building up my Mancera collection, and and everything that so far that I've picked up has become one of my favorites in the collection, and is one that I reach for quite often. And this one's no exception. Today we're going to talk about Hindu Kush. And this is one that I think is, now I don't want to go so far as to say that it's completely overlooked, but in the frag community, I feel like it's one that doesn't get a whole lot of love, but I think it should get more. Maybe it's because maybe it's one of those, like, you really, really love it, or you just really don't care for it kind of deals. Maybe, I don't know. I know how subjective fragrances can be. I know how one person can say, wow, that smells gorgeous, and the next guy can be like, I don't know how you can like that, like, ugh. So I get it, but I think this one should get a lot more love in the community because it is a great fragrance from Mancera that it definitely is a transformative fragrance. When you spray this one on, you're going to get a certain kind of feel and a vibe going on, and then as it transitions to the mid, it's gonna give you a little bit of a change, and you're going to get some different kind of things going on, and then into the dry down, even a different kind of like same vibe but just on different levels. So the first thing I want to say with this one, Mancera's Hindu Kush, is don't be swayed into thinking that if you're looking to get a fragrance because you want a fragrance that smells like marijuana, and that's the what the draw is here, then no, take a second and take a step back. This one, although it does have cannabis oil as a note, although there is cannabis oil in it, and although the name is Hindu Kush, as you can see, um, it's not the cannabis note that I think a lot of people would like envision, or a lot of people are kind of have in their mind when they hear of this fragrance. I actually think that this is one of those fragrances, in my opinion, it's one of those that could have been named better. Like, I think Mancera could have went with a different name for this one, and I don't know what it is. I'm not going to presume to, you know, to say that I could do a better job than the people over at Mancera at naming fragrances. But I think that this one probably is a little misnamed. Let me explain why. Um, I've smoked marijuana since I was like 20 years old. I don't smoke anymore. Let me make that clear. I don't smoke it now, but I smoked it since I was 21 years old for years. Long time smoker. For a long time, daily smoker. I've grown weed and smoked it in just about every way you can. And what I can tell you is, if you were expecting this to smell like somebody smoking a joint, somebody smoking a blunt, um, it's not going to give you that. It's not that burning weed smell. Okay. It's not like the smell of weed that's burning. Okay. So take that off the table. Second, it's also not the smell you're going to get if you take a bag of marijuana, open, put your nose in it, that kind of skunky, danky skunk weed, what I'm talking about. That's not what you're going to get here either. the marijuana note, the marijuana smell, if you will, that you're gonna get in this is gonna be predominantly a fresh marijuana, like a fresh green plant smell. If you've grown marijuana or you've been around marijuana plants that are growing, um, by the way, I think they smell really, really nice. Marijuana, growing marijuana, even before the plant's flowering, it's a really nice kind of fresh herbal green note, and it is nice. And that is what you're getting here, but there's also some spiciness and a lot of sweetness and a lot of other stuff that's going on in here that's balanced against that, where no specific cannabis note or a feel of a cannabis note is going to pop out at you in this fragrance necessarily. It's just kind of riding, like those motorcycles with the sidecar. It's like kind of in the sidecar with the goggles on, with the wind, like it's riding there on the side in the sidecar. But behind the wheel of the motorcycle, you've got, is that how you say, is that, I don't know, like behind the wheel doesn't sound right when you're talking about a motorcycle, but I guess that's what you would say. So behind the wheel of the motorcycle, um, you're going to get a lot of sweetness. You're going to get some spiciness, some spices, and you're going to get this really refreshing, bright greenness. So just imagine like a really bright green. This is definitely a fragrance that, and I've said this in past videos, that fragrances remind me of colors, bring to my mind colors. This is definitely a green fragrance that reminds you of the color green, but not like a green fragrance like you may be used to when you're talking about green fragrances. This one is like this bright green, very sweet bright green, and the incense in here, it, especially when the fragrance opens, you're not getting like a smokiness out of the incense, but you do smell the incense. It's actually really astounding to me. And something that I find very interesting is that in the open and into the beginning of the mid in this fragrance, you don't really, you smell incense, but it's not smoky. It's like smokeless incense almost. Like it's a sweet, green, slightly spicy incense, but it's not that smoky. As it dries down and as it starts to get into the mid, you're going to get a little more of the smokiness, but still not a lot. Like this isn't an overly smoky fragrance. You're going to get just a slight smokiness into the mid and the dry down. But that good bright green stays throughout. The sweetness actually kind of amps up as this fragrance goes on. As it dries down, like the mid of the fragrance is where you're going to get the most sweetness. As I said earlier, this kind of transforms, and there's like three different kind of like, just like there's three different you know, portions of a note breakdown, there's three different kind of like vibes that you're going to get out of this fragrance as it goes on. The open, the mid, and the base, and it's clear in each of those that the fragrance is doing something just a little different in each one. Um, so as you get into that mid, um, still bright green, fresh, a little bit spicy, um, and sweet. And the sweetness kind of ramps up as it comes off your skin. And this thing, I mean, it pushes off your skin. This one's definitely, as we've come to expect from Mancera. This one's definitely one that has some power to it. It has some push. It's gonna jump off your skin. It's gonna push off your skin. It's gonna project great. Okay. Um, Maybe just take this opportunity to just really quickly talk about performance. Again, Mancera performance here. And I'm not saying all Manceras have like killer performance, because I don't think that's the case. I own three, but I've sampled quite a few. And even though Mancera is known for having great performance, they're not all like, powerhouse performers, but this one is. This is a strong fragrance. This is very sweet. And I think that if you wore this in really hot weather, really hot, humid weather, it could actually become cloying. It could become a little bit off-putting if you put too many sprays on and it's really hot. Other than that, I will say that this is pretty much a versatile fragrance that you can wear in a lot of different conditions throughout the year, a lot of different temperature conditions. Um, daytime, evening as well. Like it could go either way. And then longevity is, I mean, for me, 10 hours. And for the first like 6, it's really pushing hard. And then as you get like, as it dries down and as it goes, further on, it starts to pull back, and the sweetness does stay the entire time, but in the bottom, like near the end, like maybe after like the maybe 5-6 hour mark, it's still sweet, but it's pulled back a little. But I feel like one of the best parts of this fragrance is what it smells like in the dry down, because that like I think it's a gaiac wood in the base, that kind of, and some woody notes, those woody notes start to come out and get together with that kind of green, kind of sweet green um, thing going on. And then you still got like just a touch of the spice, and that incense is kind of there. And again, slightly smoky, but not too much so. And yeah, I mean, this is one that when you first smell this, I think at least for me, when I first smelled this, I was like, oh, that's really nice. Yeah, I really like that one. Let's see how this goes. But then as it dries down, it's like, wow, I kind of like this one even more. And you keep getting hit with these just really nice whiffs of just beautiful. It's just great when the sillage on this is really good. Okay, and then when it gets to the full dry down, after about 6 hours or so, in full dry down, it's just got this wonderful dry down to it. Really, really good. And I picked this up as a partial, and I haven't spent a whole lot of time with it, but I have spent enough time with it to be able to tell you that if the things that I've been saying are something that sounds interesting to you, if this sounds like a fragrance that you'd be interested in, pull the trigger on it and grab it, because this is a really good one for Mancera. Okay. Like, I'm going to give this, and why do I always say that I don't like to put a number, a rating number on fragrances, but then I do it anyway? I'm going to say like 9 out of 10. I'm always saying like, I don't like to put a number on it, but then I do it anyway. 9 out of 10 on this one. Um, I definitely think that this is a fragrance that, um, as I said in the beginning, it's not completely overlooked, but I think that with fragrances like Cedrat Bose, Red Tobacco, Instant Crush, Mancera has some really heavy hitters and some really great things going on. And then, French Riviera and Amore Cafe, like they've got some great fragrances. And I think this one kind of gets, it's like the middle child, like it kind of gets, inadvertently, you know, pushed in a little bit into the background maybe. But I'm trying to push this into the foreground and let you guys know, like, this is a great Mancera fragrance right here that is worth picking up, worth checking out, and worth 100% worth spending the money to pick up and enjoy. I really have enjoyed this in the time that I've spent with it, and I very much look forward to wearing this and enjoying this in the future. This is one that I'm looking forward to reaching for and wearing, because I love the experience that I get when I'm wearing this. Like, this is a really good fragrance, and I just am so glad that I picked it up. Thanks for watching another video, guys. I really appreciate you coming on here and watching me rattle my gums and give you my impressions on my points of view on these fragrances. Like I said, this isn't a new fragrance. It's been out for a while. A lot of people have reviewed it, but I'm hoping that maybe some of you, what information that I'm giving you can kind of help you to make an informed decision if this is one you're considering picking up. And if it wasn't really in the forefront of your mind, but you are a fan of the House of Mancera, maybe it's one that you consider adding to your collection, or adding to your Mancera collection if you have Maybe you got a few Manceras and you want to add another one to your collection and you're thinking about what's another one I could add. That's how I ended up with this one. Is I was, I'm trying to build a collection of Manceras up, and like, which one should I get next? I was going to get red tobacco next, and then I was like, no, um, circumstances happened a certain way, and I ended up getting this one as a partial, and I'm so glad that I did. So that's going to do it for this review, guys. Hindu Kush by Mancera. Great, sweet, green, little bit spicy. Doesn't smell a whole lot like marijuana unless you kind of like, know what fresh marijuana, the plant, smells like. Then you can kind of catch it in there riding along with the rest of the greatness that's in here. I'm the Mad Fragger. Thanks for joining me for another review. I will see you next time.